Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, Orchid, as well as BandProtocol. And I want to start off by saying this, guys. Today is a very important day with what's been going on, but tomorrow could it be even bigger? And I think because of the potential for tomorrow, we might not see a massive amount of movement take place today. So I'm going to explain this a little bit more in detail later on in the video, but do be very aware, guys, that tomorrow is a critical base time. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel for more cryptocurrency news as well as technical analysis. And I hope you guys do enjoy yourselves. If you haven't yet, be appreciated if you do hit that thumbs up like button. We've been trying to hit 50 likes every day and we haven't been getting there. So if you guys are seeing this and you want to help out, just taking a little second and starting off by quickly dropping a like down below would be really appreciated. And also you could turn the bell notification on so you know whenever we have a new video and you don't miss out on all the latest news and information. So let's go ahead and start off with the news. And what we got right here is PayPal stock. Wow, it surged 17% since enabling Bitcoin purchases. 17%. So when was that? November 12th. So we're talking about a month, right? Not very much time and a huge increase. So this actually comes in relationship to with its announcement of allowing the purchasing of Bitcoin. Although estimates vary, a 2019 survey of 5,000 people claimed that 6.2% of Americans above the age of 18 own Bitcoin. The survey said an additional 7.3% are planning to purchase Bitcoin for the first time. In fact, nearly 80% of Cash App's third quarter revenue was derived from fees charged on Bitcoin buyers. 80% of Cash App's third quarter revenue. Wow. Holy cow. Shares of PayPal holding have gained a whopping 17% since November 12th, the day the online merchant launched its crypto trading platform for eligible US customers, right? So you're talking about Cash App, separate company or separate entity from the actual PayPal itself, and 80% in the third quarter. That's huge. So PayPal coming into this equation too, not only are you talking about the stock prices going up, but additional revenue for them, it's got to be looking good. You got all those fees that are going to be going on, especially when you go global with everything here. Well, that's cool. They got Anthony Pompliano on Cointelegraph. Really cool guy. Very cool, very intelligent on things related to cryptocurrency. Moving on to the next bit of news. And by the way, we're 1 minute away. It's 3:59 p.m. as of the time of me making this video from the daily candle close, and we'll see how things begin to move tomorrow. Sometimes, especially lately, it's been showing a lot of volatility leading up to that daily candle close or immediately afterwards. All right, so the price is pushed past $19,200. Ethereum at 3% of Bitcoin's price. I want to focus more so on what's going on with Bitcoin, though. Bitcoin trading around $19,196 as of that time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. On their end, right now it's 275, gaining 0.35% over the previous 24 hours. Bitcoin's 24-hour range has been between 18,990 and 19,323. So we're still within that same range. Bitcoin nears its 10-hour moving average, but above the 50-hour on the hourly chart, a flat to bullish signal for market technicians. This weekend, Bitcoin demonstrated a V-shaped reversal. After the appearance of such a figure, the growth usually continues, said Konstantin Kogan, a partner at investment firm Wave Financial. So just so you guys know, quick side note, I'm not a financial advisor. Things that I share with you is either of my own opinion or it's me collecting the news, and I'm just trying to make a nice little resource location for you. But in the end, I always encourage you guys to go do more research before you make decisions on these kinds of things. And please don't ask me for actual financial advice. Should I invest in this? Should I not invest in this? That's up to you. I have things that I've invested in myself. I can, tell you what the charts are suggesting from the technical analysis side and what I'm seeing off of it. But in the end, it's up to you guys to make that decision. And a key rule, especially if you guys are new to this industry and you're watching this video, the golden rule, never invest more than what you're willing to lose. And you may hear this a lot, and I hope you guys aren't upset or like annoyed by the fact that you're hearing this again, because it's so important. Don't let your emotions overwhelm you. You could make bad decisions. So just remember that never invest more than what you're willing to lose. After a higher than expected amount of volume over the weekend, including over $865 million in spot exchange volume Sunday for the 8 exchanges tracked by the CoinDesk 20, Monday's tally is looking lower at $569 million as of press time. We still see the market challenging the all-time high, but there is not a lot of conviction behind it. This can be seen in the lower volumes, said Joel Edgerton. I don't know how you say his name. Chief Operating Officer of cryptocurrency exchange Bitflyer USA. December normally has lower volumes due to holidays and vacation among Western institutional clients. Bitcoin's volatility has also flatlined out of late, with the 30-day volatility as calculated by CoinDesk's research at 57%, close to where it started 2020 when it was at 53% January 1st. There may be a few more attempts at the highs before the sellers disappear, but importantly, there is enough new volume on the buy side to keep us up around these levels and eventually buy all the sellers' offers around $20,000, added Swiss quotes Thomas. Let us know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Do you guys think that before the end of the year we're going to hit $20,000? You think it's possible? Do you think we're going to break the $20,100 level? We got about 2 weeks left, so tell me what you think. We're going to talk about that in just a second right here. Now let's talk about Ukraine. Ukraine's oligarchs' troubled U.S. steel plant has been quietly mining Bitcoin. This is a report. So on one hand, this is good because it decentralizes Bitcoin. On the other hand, because of issues that the United States has had with Ukraine, it's a political thing, right? So some people will look at it on one way and say it's positive. Other people will look at this and say that it's a negative. A supposedly shuttered U.S. steel plant owned by Ukrainian billionaire Ihor Kolomoisky is said to have been mining Bitcoin. Kolomoisky, they added an extra Y here. I have no idea how to say this guy's name. One of the most influential people in Ukraine with a net worth of $1.1 billion is the former owner of Private Bank, a major privately owned bank in the country. The only activity continuing at the plant is the production of Bitcoin, employees told the multimedia broadcaster. The sources said one of the warehouses is filled with mining equipment, though it's not clear how many devices are on site and of what type or brand. So, if they're an older brand, then they're just kind of wasting their own time because it's not worth it with the older ones. If you try and buy a mining rig from like a year ago and you're not buying the latest model for mining Bitcoin, you might have a good deal on the actual purchasing of it, but it's not going to yield enough of a return profit for you, especially if you're buying them in mass. It's just not enough processing. And then the cost expenses for it too with the electricity and everything. Okay, so then next up, Bitcoin is still on track. Wait, what? Where'd my other article go? Did I just accidentally close out the other article? Or was it in this one? Oh, okay, yeah, it's part of the bottom section there. Lost my bearings there for a second, but we're right back on track. Boom. Bitcoin's still on track to breach $20,000 in coming weeks. This is what the analysts are saying. We have witnessed a large move up over the weekend with MicroStrategy's effort to increase Bitcoin holdings from several large players, bringing with it fresh optimism. Matthew Dibb, COO at Stack Fund, told CoinDesk, "Our belief is that we will see a breach of $20,000 in the coming weeks." All right, so there is sentiment saying that we should hit $20,000 soon, but tomorrow, this is such an important day. Mt. Gox. For those of you guys that don't know, Mt. Gox was at one point the biggest exchange for buying and trading Bitcoin, but it got hacked, and it was a very big hack, and it was a huge debacle, a lot of problems, and now, years later, after Mt. Gox has been shut down, the people that had their Bitcoin stolen, there's an opportunity for them to be returned. This isn't the first time, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more right now. Japanese exchange Mt. Gox ceased operations in February 2014 after announcing a fund loss of 850,000 Bitcoin in long-term attacks. 850,000. Not dollars, Bitcoin. The deadline for a plan to distribute some 150,000 Bitcoin back to investors is December 15th. Some observers fear that if the distribution starts soon, recipients of the funds may cash in the 2,500% return accrued over the 6.5 years the cryptocurrency has been locked up, possibly adding to downward pressure on the cryptocurrency's price. However, if there's a decision, it will likely have an immediate and negative effect on the market, Dibb said. We are currently warning investors to brace for volatility ahead of the announcement, which is what it seems like is more or less happening today. The impending distribution could be worth as much as $2.8 billion at the current market price. That is just 10% of the daily volume, he said. All right? 10% of the daily volume. $2.8 billion. But again, that's also 150,000 Bitcoin. And if people just start dumping it onto the market, other people could be dumping too. And more fears could instill, and this could just cause it to have a large cascading effect downwards, right? Especially if prices start to go too low, people might call up places like Grayscale and like say, hey, sell it too. You never know. So tomorrow is going to be very important. Just so you guys know, it's not a guarantee so far from what we can really tell that the people with Mt. Gox are going to get those 150,000 Bitcoin back, because it was supposed to be before and they had an extension on it. And there's debate about whether there's going to be another extension on this again. And in addition to that, there's also been reportedly a certain amount of Bitcoin that can actually be given back to people. And they're trying to find some way to balance this. And then anything that exceeds that amount, they would just reimburse people that had their Bitcoin stolen with the equivalent value of what Bitcoin was for price back then. Not what it is now, what it was back then, which I believe was around $550. So imagine if you had one Bitcoin and you're not actually going to get your Bitcoin back, you could immediately sell that Bitcoin for a $14,000, or sorry, a $19,000 profit, essentially. Just a little bit less, depending on when you're watching this video. So you could have made $18,000 to $19,000 on just one Bitcoin. Imagine if you had 10. Imagine if you had 100 or 1,000, right? We're talking about a lot of money, especially if things have been tight for you. It's life-changing. So it's so important for us to really see how the news goes with this tomorrow. And there's something that really plays in well with this as well, because it could go one of two ways. And again, I'll talk about this in just a second, but I got one more bit of news. This is actually related to BandProtocol. This is good news for them. BandProtocol becomes the first blockchain project to join Open API initiative. And again, guys, if you are new to the channel and you are enjoying this video, please don't forget to subscribe. Please do not forget to hit the thumbs up like button. It only takes a split millisecond to click the hand. And every time you guys do that, it helps us in getting discovered by more people. It helps us in growing the community. It helps in growing the channel. It lets me know that you appreciate the content and you appreciate what I'm saying. And it would mean a lot. BandProtocol becomes first blockchain project to join Open API initiative. And this is a little bit of information here. BandProtocol has become the first blockchain firm to join the Open API initiative alongside big names such as Google, eBay, IBM, and Microsoft. BandProtocol announced Monday it will help the project create a common API standard, enabling blockchain applications to easily leverage APIs, application programming interfaces, and data. An API is a software intermediary allowing applications to access data and, in effect, talk to each other. Various industries are now recognizing the need to connect blockchain applications to common APIs, according to BandProtocol. The potential benefits of the work are said to include new revenue streams for tech firms who can sell their data and price feeds to smart contracts, better data security and thus less hacks, and creating decentralized apps that can interact with centralized technologies. Our mission is to define a common API standard for blockchain applications by collaborating with prestigious partners to bridge the gap between centralized data, APIs, and smart contracts on the blockchain, said Sorvis Srinawakun, CEO of BandProtocol. Open API, a nonprofit foundation hosted by the Linux Foundation, confirmed to CoinDesk that BandProtocol is the first blockchain project to become a member. All right, so that's it for the news for BandProtocol. Let's actually take a look at the charts right now. I'm gonna take a quick sip. All right, so We have a new daily candle position. This just happened as of when I'm recording this video here. And you guys can see that the symmetrical triangle pattern that we were forming, we had broken above it on the previous day candle, okay? Back here on the December 13th candle. It went all the way up, but then retraced all the way back down and closed right on that line. The next day, we had a bit of a drop that took place, but guess what? It had a further continuation up and actually progressed itself even higher. Now, we are above the level of resistance, which is a bullish sign. And you can see on the RSI, even that is actually still in a good position. It's not overbought. It's at right around the 60 range, right? It's like 59. Yeah, it's like 60. And the technical, you can't see it right here behind my webcam, but it's on the buy for the technical indicator right there. And so we're seeing a lot of indications saying like, hey, we're good to go. Get ready to launch. And if you try to compare too much back to 2017, you're going to lose the mentality that we're talking about a fixed limited supply. You're talking about more ways that you can actually be able to buy Bitcoin. So it's not as restricted of what options, and it's not as complicated as it was before. So many people have easy access to be able to go and buy any amount of Bitcoin. And, you know, some people, they want to buy $5 a Bitcoin. Some people don't want to do that. You might say it's not worth it, but some people might say, I got an extra $5. It's all I can afford. I want to buy something. I just want to say that I own a little bit of Bitcoin. Some people want to do that. Now you got these other applications, excuse the noise in the background, to where people can get more and more Bitcoin, and you reduce the amount of supply, production rate because of the halving event. So a lot of things are different, and I think it's very important to take those into consideration when you're trying to assume such a massive downtrend replicating what happened before. We're talking about a new kind of creature here that we haven't seen in traditional markets of the past. So with this, it is showing strong signs of a continuation up. Now, in my opinion, I think that there is a good chance that this could hit today very close to $20,000. I think there is a strong chance of that. There seems to be a lot of selling pressure right around $19,350. And also I saw that there's some listings for $19,500. And then from what we were talking about on the readings, $20,000 is also a massive sell wall right there too, right? So $19,350, $19,500, $20,000, those seem to be the key levels. I don't expect it to go on a huge run past $20,000 until we get full clarification of what's going on with the Mt. Gox tomorrow. Because one of the last things you would want to do is to drop a whole bunch of money at these kinds of levels, and then tomorrow all these people get their Bitcoin back and they just trash the market. They flood the exchanges, and then everyone else starts panicking too. So then they flood their Bitcoin to the exchanges, and now there's too much supply and not enough people are really wanting to buy it because they're seeing it go down and they want to wait for a bottom, right? So then you start to go into more of the emotional trends from other people. But as a trader, you're not supposed to play on your own emotions. You're supposed to read the charts and look at the trends and identify based on the emotional history of other people, right? So it's kind of a psychological way to look at everything, but hopefully you're following me here and you understand what I'm talking about. So this is just my personal opinion. I think that there's a good chance we're going to continue having a rally up and be close to the $20,000 range, potentially tap it and then bounce off. Maybe even the 20,100. There's a small chance for that. But tomorrow, depending on what the news is, it could be absolutely explosive. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's very explosive up or down. So if it is that, hey, everyone's getting their Bitcoin back, I'm leaning way more bearish that these people are going to dump it onto the exchanges. And other people are going to be fearing that too. If they say, whoops, there's another delay, then it's like, oh, okay, well, we got plenty more time. Let's go ahead and go. Skyrocket it. The news today was really important because of the Electoral College votes in which President-elect Biden has, surprise, surprise, won that again as well. So I mentioned this in previous video, but for those of you that don't know, a lot of people in Wall Street supported Biden's campaign for presidency. And so the stock market, when he won that night, and the Associated Press had made the announcement of it, that he had enough electoral votes back in November. Well, guess what? The stock market started going up. We also saw some uptick with Bitcoin too. So very interesting. A lot of sentiment suggesting that some people out there probably feel that it's more reliable and it has a stronger future with someone like Biden coming in. You may disagree with this, okay? And I'm not trying to push you to feel one way or another, but looking at all the information in the news from the general public's eye, from like key individuals and what their perceptions are, this is what it looks like is going on. If we have a retracement back with Bitcoin, do keep in mind that we might tap not only back into this symmetrical triangle, and that could be a fake out itself too, because ideally you want 2 to 3 days. We have one that was essentially on the line. You could considerably say it was above it. So you have potentially 2 that's been established. A third day would be stronger, and you could actually say that if anything, this would be the second day. But there is the potential of a retracement. That level of resistance, which is now forming a support, is at $19,065. If it breaks below that, the 21 EMA is the next level. That's at $18,542. The next level below that is $18,231, right? And the likelihood of it breaking even further below that continues to diminish, because now we're talking about a ton of money. But depending on what happens with Mt. Gox tomorrow, or if we hear some major news tonight about what leads into tomorrow, which keep in mind, by the way, Japan is in a different time zone from us. So that's something that's really important too. Maybe there will be news that comes out late tonight that informs us about what's going on with Japan tomorrow. But if it does go even further down below that, then another key level of support is going to be at $17,660. That would be a massive decline from where it is currently, but anything is technically possible. Those are 4 levels for you guys to keep in mind right off the bat there. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Next one up is looking at Orchid. Looking at Orchid, we are still below the 21 EMA, still in a bearish trend. And, you know, it is what it is. It's looking like the symmetrical triangle is continuing to form itself out. As I mentioned before, December 22nd looks like a key decisive date that it will have to choose a direction to make a breakout with this, based on just traditional trends, right? And until this can break above the 21 EMA, establish itself for ideally 3 days, because Orchid doesn't have a great track record with 2 days above or below for the 21 EMA, especially going above the 21 EMA ever since that $1 decline that took place. So it needs to have 3 strong days for that. Until then, it's still showing signs of being bearish. And the next level that we have right here, if it breaks back down on the daily, is at 0.2547. That's a key level of support. And if it breaks the 21 EMA, that's at 0.2718. That's showing strong signs of a further rally. Breaking above 0.2865. And then above that, you're going to look at a key level is getting to the 30-cent range as a psychological element. And if we actually drag out this rectangular box, you can see that that area of consolidation, we are not currently in it. And if it wants to break back into that space where a lot of this has been going in, it needs to get up to approximately 0.2596, roughly 26 cents. Okay, very key important level right there. Let's go ahead and hit save on that bad boy. And if it decides to go even more further down, then another bottom is going to be ideally right here at 0.2458. We saw a bottom on December 11th and a candle position. Oh, actually, that was from where it started. So I'd say a key level right there is at 0.2463, just a little bit below that, 0.2427. And you can even see that as we go back over through this history, it's all right around in the same range. Hopefully there's going to be some good news coming up with that if this fills within this gap space, because it's still in the symmetrical triangle, guys. Really keep an eye out December 22nd. If Bitcoin decides that it wants to start dumping heavily, Orchid could very well take a plunge with it too. And it's more than likely that it would, and the whole rest of the market would as well. And people start moving things into other stuff like potentially gold or looking into the stock market elements too. Now, hopefully that's saved because I guess I was saying it wasn't. Now, the last thing is looking at BandProtocol. So normally you would have a double top pattern formation right here, and this would actually suggest, as had started to make its decline, that this would have a further drop, right? And seeing this kind of a position, if it was to have a further drop, you would actually be looking at right around $2.84. Respectively. And if it has a further breakout up above this, as I mentioned in the past, it could go up to right around $10.54, which would be absolutely amazing. Now, keep in mind that if you look at this, this is essentially the formation of, I think I may have actually set it up for once, right? Yeah, I did. Okay, it was just slightly off. Look at this. Look at that channel. I mean, it's basically as flat as it can get. If it was any more flat, insert joke here about flat earthers. I don't know. I was trying to come up with something on the fly there, but I couldn't think of anything. Anyways, so looking at this right here, right? We're tapping above that median zone on the daily candle from yesterday, and today it's just slightly in the red. There's not much movement at all that's going on. Volume was pretty high for yesterday, and right now this is just being a bit calm. I think a lot of people are really wondering what's going on with Bitcoin and its decisions over the next 24 hours. So we'll see how that plays out. It's doing a little bit of back and forth action right there. And if this goes into the next major zone, you're going to be looking on the pitchfork. This is going to be at $7.30. $7.30, $7.31, right around in that range. Then breaking above $7.93, and then you go up to the higher levels. If it breaks down below this, that median zone is actually really important because there's either normally a bounce right off of it or further continuation all the way up. The fact that this has popped up above on the daily, I would not be surprised that it has a further continuation up. It has had 3 days of strong rallying, but with the good news as well, this is looking pretty promising. Again, Bitcoin can throw off all these other charts, and it causes whatever direction that it wants to go for this too. That median zone is at $6.67, a further drop down at $6.02, and a further bottom at $5.38. Let me know what you guys think about all this news. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here. I really do appreciate all of you tuning in. Again, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this, do not forget to hit subscribe. Hit the thumbs up like button, guys. We are trying to get at least 50 likes on this video. Put a lot of time and research and energy into trying to get everything prepared for these videos for you guys, and then actually obviously doing the videos themselves. I'm on 27 minutes right now. Again. It's like the standard. I keep thinking I can talk maybe a little bit faster on some things or cover things a little bit more shorter, but then it ends up, I just kind of fill in the space with more news and stuff. So it's always around like 24 to 30 minutes. And yeah, if you guys can hit the like, it helps out a lot. Hit the bell icon so you know when there's a new video and you stay up to date with everything. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought about all this stuff today. If you feel that there's any news that I didn't share that you think is also important, share it with other people. I want to build a strong community, and so I highly encourage you guys to leave comments and voice your opinion. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you in the next episode.